When you first get your new Volvo, there's a few things that you can do. You can set your seat and you can learn the features, but also here on the screen there is quite a few settings that you can customize the vehicle to your preferences. And this is helpful because you buy a vehicle with a lot of features, and if you customize it towards your preferences, then you're getting the most out of the vehicle basically for what you're spending. So in the screen, to get to the settings, now I've gone over this screen in a separate video, like all the main features. This is specifically for the settings on what's in the settings and how to customize it. So to get the actual settings, you pull this down and you go right here to settings. Now, since we're on the topic of a new car buyer or a new car owner, the owner's manual, which is searchable, is here as well, which is fantastic, and this is highly recommend playing around and searching for a few things because it does have a wealth of information. But going in here to the settings, here's your main settings, and there's a bunch of information on each topic. So let's start here with my car. Displays. Now I show this in the main video that I have of this vehicle, showing you the different displays on where the speedometer is and the gauge cluster. But there's different themes here. This is how you get to it, and you can have this screen bright or normal. I suggest the black. It's just easier on the eyes overall. Glass, minimalistic, performance, and chrome rings. This is your actual gauge cluster screen, which is changing, and I show that in my main video, but just to show you where to change it is here. Driver display information. This is in the center of the gauges. You can have show nothing, show current media in the middle of the gauges next to the speedometer, or show the map there. And I show all this stuff in the main video, but this is how you go. This is how you find the settings here. Heads up display options. So this is where you can go in and you can change what you want to display on the heads up display. I have all that stuff up because it doesn't always show up. It only shows up when it needs to. So like say when somebody's calling you, then it'll show, but typically you won't show anything on your phone, that kind of stuff. It does have the roadside information, which helps out with showing what the speed limit is and everything like that. You can also do the calibration for the heads up display, so you can move it up and down and give it a precise position and tilt it and all that stuff as well. Alright, so let's get back out of that. Let's go to IntelliSafe. So this has a collision warning system, and if it's giving you warnings too often, you can put it on late, or you can have it early if you give you a warning if you're getting too close to the car in front of you. But you can also have the lane keeping aid mode, so you can have it turn the steering wheel assist, give you a warning only without turning the steering wheel, or both. So it'll give you a warning and bump the steering wheel and try to get you in the center of the lane. This is different from the pilot assist. It's just the lane keeping aid, so it's just keeping you from going over the out of your lane basically. Then your roadside information, you can have speed cameras. It looks out for that. Roadside audio warning, so it alerts you when there's alerts for the different speed or something like that. And then a speed limit warning, so if you go over a certain speed, then we can check that, and it's either 5 or 0, so that's all it gives you. So you see that if the speed limit is 55 and you go 56, it's going to give you a warning. Now you can have it 5 over, so now it'll give you a warning at 60. So that's your only options on this, but it kind of gets a little bit of annoying. 5 is good right here if you don't have it on 0, but I like to turn that off because I keep an eye on the signs anyway, as far as it shows the roadside information on the heads-up display on the screen anyway. Alright, so driver alert control. So if you're kind of like not really driving all normal or whatever, I don't know how it can tell, but I guess if you're just not really driving, you may be swerving or whatever, then it'll kind of give you a little like pop up and say, hey, maybe it's time for a break type thing. And then it'll actually, if you won't have this checked, it'll like, hey, here's the nearest rest stop and help you get there. Alright, so we have individual drive mode. So this is where you can go in and adjust the driver display how you want it, the dynamic, the way the vehicle drives, dynamic, eco, or comfort. Steering force, you can have it easy to turn or more stiff. Powertrain, you can have it more, revving up the, and have a higher rev with the dynamic, or you can have it eco or in the middle. Brake characteristics, you can have it normal or dynamic. It's a little bit more grabby and a little bit more aggressive on the dynamic. Suspension control, you can have it stiffer or comfort, soft. And then eco is kind of like a, more for the fuel economy and stuff like that. Eco climate and the start stop features, you can turn those on or off. I have them off here. Alright, so let's go to the lighting, exterior lights, and you check out my night video on this vehicle. It looks really nice, and I show you a lot of the features that it has at nighttime with the lights itself. So especially the high beam, the active bending and all that stuff. It's really neat. The active high beam timing, I actually go down the road and I show you that it recognizes headlights and tail lights, and it keeps from blinding people. And then this is your speed, active, your timing of when it turns on or off. So it's slow, normal, and fast. You can fine tune that to your preferences. And so you have a home safety light time. So illuminate some exterior lights when leaving the vehicle. You can have that on for a particular time. Welcome light when you unlock the doors. I have that in my night video. It illuminates around the vehicle and the sides, front and back. Daytime running lights, you can have those on. And triple flash turn indicator. So when you bump the the turn signal, instead of holding it, clicking it all the way down, if you just bump it, it'll go ahead and flash 3 times when you have that activated. Alright, so interior lights, you have ambient light intensity and your mood light intensity. Inside the vehicle, there's some, just ambient light and different backlights and stuff like that. You can adjust those right here, but you also have the ability to, you have a dimmer switch over here as well for most of that. Mirrors and convenience. So exterior mirror tilt at reverse, so you can have one or both, either side, or off. So when you put it in reverse, if you want the mirrors or one side or both sides to tilt down, you can have that. I'm not used to that, so I turn it off. Rear view mirror auto dimming, you can have that normal, dark, or light. So it's auto dims the rear view mirror. It also does the side mirrors as well, but if you want a little bit darker, you can put it on dark. Normal seems fine for me. And then fold mirrors when locked, I have that activated, and that way when I lock the doors, whether it be with the key or the handle, it kind of confirms that it is locked by folding in the side mirrors, and it looks pretty cool. Okay, so locking. So when you have when you touch the handle, it says keyless unlock. Okay, so I have it just the single door. It's on all 4 doors, so whatever door you touch, it'll unlock that door. Now if you're using the remote control, you can have it a single door or all doors. So typically I'm only using the remote because there's other people with me, so I do all doors. Physical locking feedback. So when you lock the door, it's going to give you lock or unlock. So I have it set at both, lock or unlock. It's going to give me a visible flash of the lights, and then you can also have the audible locking feedback. So a little beep when you lock the vehicle. And auto close sunroof curtain. After, in a hot climate, after a certain amount of time, it'll go ahead and close the shade for the sunroof. I have that activated as well. Alright, so parking brake and suspension, auto activate parking brake. Now I tried turning that on. The only issue, like when you put it in, when you turn off the engine, it applies the parking brake, but you have to manually disengage the parking brake every time you go. So what would be nice is if it would automatically, when you start out the vehicle and put it in drive, it disengages the parking brake automatically, but it doesn't do that. So I'd turn that back off. But if you're on hilly environment, that's probably a good thing to have. Alright, so let's go to wipers. So this has a rain sensor memory. It remembers your previous setting. Also, auto rear wiper activates in reverse. So when you put it in reverse, it turns on the rear wiper. So if you want to have those features, you can have it there. Alright, so let's go back. Now, we just got done with that one. Now let's go to here. Sound. So we have the getting ahead of ourselves. Equalizer, so we can adjust it the way we want, our preferences. The balance, we can have it forward and back, you know, wherever we want to do it. And I'm going to have a separate video with a sound system, you know, trying to show you what it sounds like and how to do the settings on that particular thing. And then system volumes, you can adjust those independently. Alright, let's go back out of that. Navigation, so we can adjust the map here. You can have the current position, you can have the address or coordinates. So of course address is more understandable for most people instead of a coordinates, but that's an option there. Map display format, you can have it day or night or auto, and this basically darkens the background instead of have a light background for the, you know, so if you want it nighttime, that's what it'll look like. Daytime will have a bright background. Show speed cameras, that's pretty cool, on the map. So they're basically in known positions, and the GPS knows where they're at, so it'll let you know. And then show favorites, show favorite positions on the map. You can have that you know, activated if you want. And then points of interest, you can, you know, select the different ones that you want to show on the map. Alright, route and guidance, estimated, so like estimated time of arrival or return time arrival, that kind of thing. You can have those, that depending on which one you want. The voice guidance level, this is just like how much voice guidance do you need? Do you want like full talkie guidance, or do you want just the minimum amount of information, or you want none? So you can have that selected here. And then you can choose your route type. You can have it fast, eco, or scenic. Route learning optimizes route calculation. You can choose that if you like. I'm not sure why you'd want to not have it checked, but it does have that option here. Avoidance settings, so we can avoid particular things. I think that's great, like toll rolls or whatever, if we don't want to you know, spend a bunch of money on tolls. And proposed gas station, so let's say you're getting low on gas, it might say, hey, here's a gas station coming up, or something like that. Alright, let's go back here, and traffic. So it says you know, show and handle traffic events, set the on which level traffic events shall be shown. So we can have major traffic events, like it's the road's blocked or whatever, or significantly slowed down. None, or all types. So you know, it could be just a slight slowdown or something. It's going to show. Avoid traffic events, so it's going to ask. So like, say if there's an accident and it's holding up traffic, if you say never, then it's going to be like, well, you're just going to run into it. But ask, it's going to let you know, and then you can choose whether you want to continue that way or not. Or always, that means it's just going to automatically route you somewhere else, and you know, you may want to go a certain way even if you have a slight delay. So I think the ask would be a good one for me anyway. And then you want to show free-flowing traffic. You can have that on or off. Typically, so with green lines, typically it would just show where there's congestion, but you can have the green line part too as well. And then you have the real-time traffic information. That's amazing how they could do that nowadays. Alright, so let's get back out of this. Now let's go to media. So you have so your AM, FM, you have HD radios. You can have that selected. You know, it's not always available everywhere, but it is, you know, in some places. Show broadcast information and freeze the program name. So like, say it's, you know, if it flashes or whatever, it'll just stay there, and so you can read it easier. And then the satellite radio, the channels, you can sort them by alphabet or number. Then you have the different options here. So you can, this is my favorite part right here, skipped categories. So I can go in here and I can, like, let's say I don't want to listen to so like hip-hop music, I can just skip that, because there's so many stations. If you're trying to skip through there, then there's so much stuff that kind of gets in the way. So if you don't want to have to go through 100 channels of sports to try to find another station that you want to listen to, it's like, you know, I really like that, because I spend a lot of time flipping through satellite channels, and I get to the point where, like, okay, now I got to go all through all the sports channels or whatever. So I think that's pretty cool, having that option to just skip over certain things. can also do specific channels as well. Travel Link. This is a fantastic service, Travel Link. I think it's great. So you can get alerts from there or not, and then you can find out your subscription information here. And Grace Note. So you can do online searches and stuff with it. So the use online database to improved information. So it's going to give some of your personal information apparently online if you check that. Video. So this screen, I haven't been able to really get a video to play on here. I haven't really tried much, but I guess there's certain dimensions that you have to have. But it does have, you know, different audio languages, subtitle languages, and you know, DivX is one of the formats in which you can play. I'll have a separate video on the audio system of this vehicle, which will go over all the formats that you can use. Okay, so communication, this is where you can pair phone. You can have last name, first name, last name, ringtones, different things. Text messages, how to handle those. Android Auto, you can plug it in. You have to physically plug it in. Same thing with Apple CarPlay. Now, basically, this particular system, the Android Auto, is not really, to me, it's not really an upgrade. I guess if there was specific things that I had saved on my phone, like addresses or whatever, then that would be handy. But I don't know. The system seems better, in my opinion, than the Android Auto. Bluetooth devices. So this is where we can go in and make a, you know, show the paired devices and use the internet connection. So you can use the Bluetooth internet connection there. So that way it uses the internet off your phone to do any kind of updates or whatever. Wi-Fi. So if you want to have the vehicle as like a Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever, or you can connect to a Wi-Fi like your house or something, and you're in your driveway and you want to download something or whatever, you can have it that way. There's the vehicle Wi-Fi hotspot, in which it'll tell you the password and all that stuff. So it has an onboard modem. You can connect directly to the internet using that. It's like a, I guess it's kind of like a cell phone type deal, in which it, you know, allows you to access data. And then Volvo On Call, in which you would this would be like a subscription type thing, safety, security, and comfort. So you would have to activate this service right here for those features, those particular features. Alright, so the climate, so we can go in here, auto steering wheel heating level, auto driver seat heating level. So like, it's a 3-stage for the steering wheel and the seat. So you can set it at the set stage you want. So when you push the button, it'll just go straight to that. Auto passenger seat heating level, same deal. Air quality sensor, so it'll activate recirculation if outside air is polluted. So if the outside air is polluted according to the sensors of the vehicle, it'll go ahead and just start recirculating the air automatically. I think that's pretty cool. And it keeps the outside air out while you're going through that particular polluted area. And then when you're out of that area, it'll go ahead and open it back up. Auto rear defroster, so if it's icy, that's a good idea to go ahead and have that defrosted. Recirculation timer, so if you do turn on the recirculation, in other words, you just keep the air recirculating in the vehicle, it'll automatically turn off after a certain amount of time, and this to get fresh air in the vehicle, but also avoids fogging, so you can have that on as well. Alright, so the system settings here at the bottom, go back, driver profiles, so you can have, I have it on guest, but there's 3 different driver profiles. It also is in relationship to the key that you set up as well. So I think that's pretty cool, and that'll do your radio, your favorites on your radio station, everything. I mean, it's amazing how customizable to each individual driver it is. So you can adjust the date and time. So this one is use the GPS system to go ahead and do that for you. Languages, you can have US, metric, different keyboard layouts, system languages, all that good stuff that you don't really have to adjust really unless you're in a different language. Voice control, so you can, this is pretty neat. This is very rare that you have this option. Male or female voice, and also slow or fast speaking. So if you just want to speak fast, you can hear it and get out of the way, then that's pretty cool. And then it also, you can have it repeat the voice command. So if you want it to say it twice, it'll go ahead and do that. Privacy and data. So if you choose what you want to send out, out of the vehicle, you can reset the whole deal if you'd like. And system information, there it shows, about this particular system. All right, so there you go. This is a kind of a rundown of the settings. Remember, we went pull this down, hit the settings. This is the menu. Went through each one. Each one kind of splits off and branches off into, more specific settings. But going in there and setting it up the way you want it, then you don't have to worry about it. Unless you want to change something, you got it all set up. And once you get the vehicle, you set it up here. Then when you're driving, you're aware of the features more by going through the settings, because you're like, hey, I didn't know I had that. I'm going to go ahead and set that. And then you're aware of the features. You know how you specifically set it up, and then it's pretty much done. And you don't have to ever really worry about it. So I think that's a good thing to go ahead and do. Now, some dealerships will go ahead and go over things with you on the settings, but if you do it yourself, I think that would be better, because you can focus on it more. You can spend more time on each particular thing that you want to spend time on. You're not in a rush because somebody else is sitting next to you, and they're pretty much doing everything for you typically, and just asking you questions or whatever. So this is also a video that you can refer back to if you have any questions or anything like that. You can kind of go over the video and look at things again at your own convenience without even being in the car, which is nice. Or if you haven't received your car yet and you're anticipating getting the car, this is a good video to kind of get accustomed to the different features. So that way you can kind of make a plan on what you want to do, and then once you get the vehicle, you go into the settings and adjust it the way you want, and it's less confusing, and you're more prepared for the situation. But anyways, thank you for watching. There's lots of content on Volvos on my channel. This particular vehicle is the Volvo V60, but this basic principle on the screen is for all the new Volvos. They have basically the same type of screen. And anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.